first and foremost, who here has heard of Khan Academy before? Raise your hands if you have. Oh, wow. Okay. Who has absolutely no idea what Khan Academy is? Raise your hands proudly. Great, okay. So for those of you that don't know, Khan Academy is a not-for-profit organization that provides thousands of online educational videos on a variety of topics for free for students. And their overall goal is to be able to provide students a world-class education anywhere, completely for free. And we have a variety of subjects on there, so I've created sort of a compilation of those for you to be able to get a sense of what we do.
To the gravity.
This is an age right after Isaac Newton.
I'm told the humidity makes it feel hotter. Why is this?
Excellent question, LeBron.
And you can just see the pleasure he had.
Can you determine which light bulb is being switched?
Things actually can interbreed, although for these two in particular, it seems like the mechanics would get kind of difficult.
And I can keep playing around with these numbers and see what kind of colors I can come up with.
If this does not blow your mind, then you have no emotion.
So the Khan Academy sort of got started with our interactive math experience. And so students, what they do is they go on and log in, and it's completely free, and they take an assessment, and we've created an algorithm that is able to assess where the gaps in their knowledge are, and then it assigns them additional practice problems for where those gaps are. And they can do practice problems and receive feedback in real time. And if they're working with, say, a parent or a teacher, the teacher is able to go online and take a look at how they're progressing, where they're struggling. And we've also incorporated a lot of game mechanics to keep students engaged and motivated. So this is sort of where we're at now in terms of scale. Khan Academy is being used in almost every single country in the world in some form or another. And we have 26 million registered users. This doesn't include this number of students that come on that don't register, that just use Khan Academy for one particular topic. All around the world, in total, there are 4 million problems solved every single day on Khan Academy, which is really exciting. And students overall have answered almost 4 billion problems, which is really exciting. So this is what we like to call our knowledge map. And this doesn't actually exist anymore on the front end for students to kind of navigate through themselves. We have so many videos now, thousands of videos, that this looks very, very messy now, but our engineers use it on the back end to suggest practice problems for students. But I like to show this because I think that it shows how we think about mathematics. So at the top there, you have your very basic concepts, like arithmetic. And as you move down, you get to more and more advanced concepts, like college-level statistics or calculus. And so the idea is students are able to self-navigate through this, and once they complete mastery in a more elementary concept, then they're able to move on. Now, this seems very logical, but in reality, this is not how the typical classroom setting is architected. Students are typically grouped together by age, and later by age and perceived ability, and they're all moved along together on the same track at the same rate, and then they're given assessments, and not everyone gets an A+ on every single exam, and so students fall behind. And that's not how a lot of other things work. Like, for example, martial arts. I did martial arts for 14 years, and traditionally, you master everything you need to know at a white belt, and then you move on, only when you've mastered all of that to get to yellow belt. So at Khan Academy, we believe that students first need to master a topic, and then they can move on. So imagine if we were to take a test on exponents, and I got a 90%, you got an 80%, and Shiv, unfortunately, you got a 60%. Better luck next time. Well, we go through the trouble of finding where those gaps are in your knowledge, but we don't do anything about it, and those students are left behind. So imagine if we did other things in our life like that. Say, home building. The contractor comes, and you say, we have 3 weeks to build the foundation, do what you can. And so the contractor, he say it rains for a week and they run short of materials. Some of the workers fall sick and they come back and they say, okay, it's ready for the inspector. And the inspector comes and says, oh, well, the concrete is still wet here. The foundation is cracked. This doesn't meet safety standards and there's a huge hole in the ground here. I will give you an 80%. And you say, okay, great, let's build the second floor. And you do the same thing, and then you build the third floor, and all of a sudden everything collapses. And I think a lot of us can resonate to having experienced this when you're learning and building on more advanced concepts, say in mathematics, where all of a sudden something doesn't make sense to you, and you don't know why. And usually that's because you have gaps in your understanding, so you need to go back and figure out what that is. And so this is sort of how Khan Academy is being used in the classroom. We take the philosophy of let's make what is fixed your level of understanding, and then the variable here is the amount of time you have to learn something. So let's not constrain students in how much amount of time they have to learn something. And so what was very interesting when we started seeing teachers use Khan Academy in the classroom is they didn't actually use Khan Academy as sort of a supplemental tool to refer students to. They actually sort of flipped their whole role in the classroom. And so traditionally, a classroom setting is very passive. You sit in your chair and you listen to a professor speak and you just sort of absorb this information, and then you go home and you try to work through these problems on your own. You come back and you do the same thing. Now what teachers are using Khan Academy for is to essentially assign the lecture for homework, where students watch it there, and then they come to class and they do these problem-solving activities or homework, say, and the students are actually able to engage with their students, and it becomes much more interactive, and students are able to work through these problems. So if you get stuck, you have your teacher there and you have peers there, and a lot of times, students can log on. The level of blue indicates the depth of their understanding, and then they can see immediately, who's struggling and what concept if it's red, and they can have a student go and work with them, or they can choose to work on them with a student on their own. So what's interesting here is technology has actually made a passive classroom setting more human, more personalized, and even more engaging. And we've translated our content. We have thousands of volunteers who have translated our content. I don't know if you can hear the audio. Can we turn the audio up?
قطعتين من معدن النحاس والزنك.
R بتوان 2 ضرب داره.
Kile anikuda sheba shoka sium shel azafit khotekhet et maagal היחידה.
Ili muweze kuelewa na kuweza.
Into yokuqala kufuneka siyazi kukuba kubani
16 bölü 16 1'e eşittir.
Muitas e muitas outras coisas importantes.
Isaiah from Mongolia, your videos are so interesting and funny. Make more lessons.
We like to watch that when we get lazy. But so we always kind of joked, maybe one day there will be someone in Mongolia watching our videos. And sure enough, we got this testimonial. And she's actually, we sort of assumed that she was from a wealthy background. She had access to internet. But in reality, she's actually at an orphanage in Mongolia. And they were using Khan Academy there in the orphanage to teach the girls there. And she's actually gone on to be one of our biggest contributors to translating our content in the Mongolian language. So we've seen Khan Academy play a huge role in the developed world, but I think there's even more potential to use Khan Academy in the developing world. And so we have installations of KA Lite, which is an offline installation of Khan Academy in about 140 countries. And we're excited to announce that Khan Academy has just launched our initiative this next year to focus on India as our next market. India has the world's largest youth population, and so we're really excited about this. And I think the most important thing, though, is that this is the first time Khan Academy has actively tried to penetrate another market, an international market. Right now, only 30% of our users are international. And we expect that to completely flip, where we have 70% international users within the next few years. But you see, we need your help because we are not the experts here. You all are the experts. Most of you have gone through the Indian education system. You understand and know what's working, what's not. and where the system is failing. And so we don't want to suggest that Khan Academy is like a perfect magical end-all tool. I mean, it is a tool, and in its nature, a tool is only as good as the person who is using it and how it's being used. So we don't want to suggest that this is the end-all solution, but what we do believe is that everybody deserves the right to learn and the right to have an education, and for that education to be a world-class education. So I encourage you all, we've talked about this tsunami, Shiva's mentioned the tsunami that is coming, that is blended learning and using technology in the classroom. And so I encourage you all to think of innovative ideas on how we can make the learning experience more engaging, more interactive, and more valuable to the students around the world, anywhere. So I encourage you all to help us revolutionize education. Thank you.
tGELF, leading the change.